Evening, guys. Blessed day, I am thankful, grateful heart, I am whole. Glory be to the power of this mind that I know. Soulful praise to the wonder, freedom, sing a joyful song. Calling love to the center, lifting all is one. I'll sing it now, so it is anything I dream. It is, sing it now, so it is, sing bigger now, so it is. I'm holding this vision of peace, knowing a world of harmony, calling love to the center, lifting all. We are free. Blessed day, I am thankful, grateful heart, I am whole. Glory be to the power of this mind that I know. Soulful praise to the wonder, freedom, sing a joyful song. Calling love to the center, lifting all is one. I'll sing it now, so it is anything I dream. It is, sing it now, so it is, sing bigger now, so it is. I'm holding this vision of peace, knowing a world of harmony, calling love to the center, lifting all. We are free. Sing it now, so it is anything I dream. It is, sing it now, so it is, think bigger now, so it is. I'm holding this vision of peace, knowing a world of harmony, calling love to the center, lifting all. We are free, calling love to the center, lifting all. We are free.
That is Jimmy Eads and Julie Koenig, our fabulous musicians. Let's give them another hand. It's just fabulous. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Northern Colorado. My name is Amber Davidson, and I am a spiritual guidance practitioner here. We're glad to have you join us today. We are an inclusive community honoring all faith traditions, lifestyles, and beliefs. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Okay, for those of you who know our vision and mission, let's recite it together. Our vision: we are a powerful spiritual community, lovingly committed to a world of acceptance, compassion, peace, and joy. And our mission is to gather together to express love, practice radical acceptance and inclusion, and connect with one another and with spirit. Today we have a wonderful guest speaker, and Reverend Scott. Reverend Scott has served in ministry for more than 25 years as a minister, hospice chaplain, and counselor. He is the founder and director of Spiritual Passages, a nonprofit organization that serves as an online resource for spiritual teachers and seekers. Reverend Scott was the founding minister of Whole Life Church of Religious Science in Fort Collins, senior minister of the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, and the director of communications for the United Church of Religious Science. Reverend Scott has served as an instructor for the Holmes Institute Seminary and is the author of Path of Discovery, a biography of Ernest Holmes. And we'll be hearing from him a little bit later in the service. But right now, too many things to hold. Right now, let's just settle back and go within as we have an opening prayer and a meditative chant. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. Let's take a deep breath. In Spiritus, the divine moving through us, Spirit, everywhere, permeating all of our bodies permeating this space. And we're taking this time to come together to really luxuriate in the joy of that harmony with Spirit. Knowing that the divine is always part of us, always supporting us, always moving as us. And knowing that all good comes from Spirit expressing. I am so thankful for all of this time together, for these wonderful people, for this congregation, for the musicians, for the speakers, and for the spiritual guidance practitioners. And in that gratitude, you can join me in saying, and so it is. We're going to have a meditative chant now. I am remembering who I am. 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 Let's take this moment now to have our featured song by Jimmy and Julie and listen to this with Spirit present.
Let's see. That sounds in tune enough for me. This is Holy Now by Peter Mayer. When I was a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still, and now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so spring where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. And now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. Now I'm walking with the reverend there, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything, everything, 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 everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. Well, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. Well, I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. And now I'm walking with a reverend tear, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Oh, everything, everything, everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now.
That was beautiful. Let us harmonize our hearts together. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. One more. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion.
Hi, everybody. You all look so cleaned up and reverent. Thanks, Amber. So glad to be with you. I'm glad we're all here together. Glad we changed our clocks, right? And we all came here at the same time. You know, I know that a lot of people aren't that crazy about daylight saving time. I think there's talk in the government about trying to change that. But I kind of like it. I'm actually grateful for it because, you know, in the fall, when we fall back, I also change my bathroom skills and pull it back a few pounds. And I'm very grateful for that. When I was a kid, every time daylight saving time comes around, you know, in the spring we spring forward, right? And every year I remember a thing that happened when I was a kid, growing up in a small church in Texas. And this is a true story. One Sunday morning after we had sprang forward the night before, we all came to church, and I guess we'd all set our clocks just right. Service was at 11 o'clock, and the service started at 11, and we were all there except for one sweet lady, an elderly woman Mrs. Pearson, who I think she was close to 90 at that time, but she was so loved in our community, and she didn't change her clock. So when she came to church, she got there at noon, right? And she walked into the sanctuary as we were finishing the service. We were all standing, singing the closing song, and she come walking down the aisle, and I can see her sitting there. She would come in and found her pew there, the place she always sat, and she started singing with everyone, and the song ended, and she sat down, and everybody else walked out. And our preacher, our minister, saw what was happening with her, noticed her, and he thought, I am not going to shortchange her today. And he did a whole other service for her, a second service. The musicians stuck around and sang for her. And the best thing was that quite a few of the church members noticed what was happening. A second service was starting for her, and they came back into the sanctuary. And every one of them, I had to come in. My parents were there, and we all came in. And everyone who walked back in had the biggest smile on their face. I'm telling you, there was just pure love in that room. And they came in and sat down, and we did the service. And I've noticed people glancing over at Mrs. Pearson with just a look of just an adoring look. And it was great. The preacher cut his sermon a little bit short. I'm not doing that today. He cut his talk a little bit short, but he did take a second offering. I don't think everybody quite appreciated that. And Mrs. Pearson, after the service, I think someone told her what was happening and what had happened. And at first she was embarrassed. And then she just looked around at those people in that room and just felt pure joy and gratitude for her community. Gratitude is what we're talking about today. It's the theme of the month, and today we're framing it in the words, the alchemy of gratitude. Alchemy is just kind of a fancy word for transformation, It began with the Egyptians, 8th century. I read that the word alchemy comes from the Egyptian word chemia. I think I'm saying that right, which means to transform. It means the transformation of the earth. And some of the Egyptians got the notion that they could use alchemy to transform lead into gold. They could alchemize lead into gold. It never worked, but they gave it their best try. And then Carl Jung came along sometime later and knew of the Egyptians' alchemy, and he thought that's just a great spiritual metaphor. That's a great model for us, for how we can alchemize our hearts, our lives. We can turn something that might be sort of a base level into something precious, into something gold in our lives. And so we are today talking about the alchemy of our hearts, the alchemy of gratitude, and to see how good it is that we are all connected. Gratitude is the cornerstone of essentially all the world religions and spiritual paths and faith traditions. In Buddhism, alchemy is one of the 8 pillars of joy. And the Dalai Lama once said, see if I get this right, the Dalai Lama once said that the roots of goodness are in the soil of appreciation. Man, let's take that in. The roots of goodness are in the soil of appreciation. Alchemy is the foundation for Judaism. In Jewish text, it is said that the qualities of God, the courage, the compassion, the forgiveness, the joy, the heartfulness, that all of those are anchored in gratitude. And of course, the Apostle Paul, the architect of Christianity, said that we can rejoice always, that we can be grateful in all things. In our new thought practice of spirituality, Ernest Holmes wrote that there is something in Thanksgiving that carries us beyond the field of doubt and into one of faith and acceptance. He said, gratitude is the power which attracts and magnifies the potential of life. Isn't that something? Does it speak to you, touch you to know that there is a power in you? It's known by different names. Today we're calling it gratitude. There's a power in you that as you activate it, as you are grateful, you are attracting and magnifying the good in your life. There's a professor at UC Davis, he's a psychologist, Dr. Robert Emmons, and he's considered a real expert, real authority on gratitude. He's studied it and talked to a lot of people and written about it a lot. And Emmons said that for him, gratitude just comes down to two things, two aspects. And one is goodness, and the other is connection. He said through gratitude that when we are grateful, we are acknowledging the goodness of something or someone. And then he says also, when we are feeling that gratitude, we are in harmony, in union with them. We are in connection with the person, life itself. And so today and always, he's talking about the goodness and the sense of connection that we can be about, that we can activate in our lives through gratitude. He said that when we're thankful for someone, we are reminded that we're not alone. When we're thankful, we know that we are not alone. And so goodness and connection, and I might add reverence to that, is what the spiritual practice of gratitude can be about for us. When I was 18 years old, I went to Muir Woods for the first time with my, did you say that? You know already where I'm going with this. Muir Woods, those magnificent redwood trees. And I go there with my sister and brother-in-law and their 3 kids. And when we arrived, the kids are, of course, are just being kids. They're excited, they're having fun, they're loud, they're running about, a little high energy. And we get out of the car and start walking into that forest. And we began to walk softly. Just naturally it happened. And even the kids quieted down. We didn't have to say anything to them about, be quiet, we're on sacred ground here. They just knew, it felt it, they became quiet. And we stood there in the magnificence of that air. And I'll never forget my 8-year-old niece, Vanessa, standing right over there, and her palms had just instinctively turned up. And she looked up. I couldn't quite hear her, but I could read her lips. She looked up, this child, and just said, thank you. She said, thank you. It was awesome. It was a moment of awe. And we walked in that area through that sacred space with a sense of gratitude, with a sense of goodness and reverence and connection to all that we're about. So how do we practice gratitude? How can we develop a daily spiritual practice of gratitude? Well, here are a couple of ideas. These are not new ideas. You may already be doing them. But one is just so simply at night before we drift off to sleep, let gratitude be the last thing that you're that you're about for that day. Think of one thing that you're grateful for and hang out with it for a while, for a couple of minutes. It's not a quick thank you. It's just being in that reverence, being in that that feeling. You know, when we're in the midst of that forest, there was a perceptible, and then there was silence. And our practice of gratitude can be one of, you know, we're about to drift off to sleep, and we think of one thing in our life that we're grateful for, and we bring to that sense, thank you. And to be in that, to sleep with that all night in that vibration, to sleep in the arms of goodness and connection. And then when we awake the next day, same idea. Let gratitude come first. That when we wake up, let the very first thing we do, well, maybe the second thing we do, be to bring our grateful heart to one thing, to remember something and be grateful and say our thanksgiving and to ride that current throughout the day. I'll offer one more practice, and that is daily. Have some dedicated time to give thanks for something awful in your life, some crummy thing that's happened in your life, felt like it happened to you. Maybe it was recent or a long time ago, or maybe it's something, you know, bad in the world. To bring your attention to that and move from a sense of being negative about it, move from a sense of resisting it or being afraid of it, and bring gratitude to that. Bring the air of gratitude to that particular thing in your life so that we can transform even the badness. We can transform ourselves about that thing into a state of goodness and to connection. You know, we've all had I'm sure the experience where something rotten happened in your life. It was so bad. But later down the road, you look back at it and you go, oh, now I see. Because that bad thing happened, this over here happened. This door opened for me. Because that happened, it's made me who I am today. And so we can, you know, just acknowledge that even the so-called bad stuff provides us the opportunity to be in a sense of goodness and reverence and connection. Everything, like these guys saying, is holy. Everything is holy now. Love that song. So I'm doing that thing about, you know, the bad stuff, and I'm going to be in gratitude. You know, Paul said, in all things be grateful. I'm doing that about the Colorado Rockies. I love those guys. But we've been in the cellar for a long time. And instead of just shaking my head and saying, darn those guys, I'm never going to another game, to hold them in a sense of gratefulness. And let's transform that team. To alchemize them. Stephen Colbert is good at this. You know Colbert from the Late Night Show. You may have heard an interview that he gave earlier this year where he talked about he talked about that his father and his two brothers were killed in a plane crash when he was 10 years old. And he said, I had to learn to love the thing that I most wish had never happened. He said, I try to live gratefully, to be in gratitude for my whole life. And if I'm going to be grateful for my life, I can't just pick and choose. I have to be grateful for all of it. And so we have that opportunity to be in gratitude for even the crummy stuff, to be about it like that. Doing this empowers us. It empowers us to make a shift, to make a transformation in our consciousness, in our vibration, to be in a state of lifting up the bad things into a sense of goodness and connection. There was a guru in India who one day was sitting under a banyan tree with his student. And the student asked, "Master, when will I be liberated? When will I be set free and be enlightened?" And the master looked at him and said, "You will be enlightened, you will be liberated when you've lived as many lives as there are leaves on this tree." And with that, the student just jumped to his feet and started dancing and celebrating and offering prayers of gratitude, because he saw that he would indeed one day be enlightened. But in his state of high, deep gratitude, he was enlightened in that moment. That's us. We don't have to postpone our joy. We don't have to postpone our sense of goodness and connection. That through cultivating our consciousness, letting gratitude be one of the great instruments of our life's peace. Let it empower us. Let it transform all that's in our life to one of goodness and peace and plenty and connection and reverence. That's what gratitude can do for us. I was talking to Will before the service. Will, you could say this better than I'm about to, but in his beautiful work, he said that he had learned that there's scientific evidence that there's a neural pathway from gratitude to joy, and it goes both ways. We can be in that moment of joy and gratitude right now, always. So much so, we can steep ourselves so much in this that when something crummy is going on, or if next spring someone, the day after we spring forward, doesn't change their clock and someone comes in late for the service, that we can all just turn around and come back into the service, not being aggravated, but being grateful for the moment, and to be with our Mrs. Pearson in goodness and in connection. Let's pray about that. Let's practice what we've been talking about in our prayer here. And we begin, just as Amber escorted us into this consciousness of oneness earlier in her prayer. Let's pick it up from there. Remembering that there's only one life, it's the life of God. It's the divine. And yes, it is goodness, and it is connection. And that life is our life right now. There's no place where God is not. And so from this place of wholeness, I invite you to take a moment, just a minute here right now, and think of one good thing in your life for which you are grateful. First thing that comes to mind. And to go deeply in gratitude about that. Let yourself feel that you're walking through magnificence, that you're lifted up. And you bask the thing you're grateful for in this in this beauty, in this joy. Be in gratitude. And we do the same for something that didn't seem so good in our lives. Some misfortune, some heartache, disappointment. I invite you to bring to mind one of those. And bring your energetic vibration, your consciousness about that thing into gratitude. We're not grateful for the rotten thing that happened. We are grateful in this moment. We are grateful in the experience of that which disappointed us. We bring it along. We bring our hearts along into a higher frequency. And we bless it all. We love the thing that we wish had not happened. In this, we are whole. We don't have to wait. Right now, we are the expressions, we are the sons and daughters of the Most High. And life is good. We give thanks for this spiritual community, for everyone present here, for those who are with us remotely and those with us in spirit. Thank you, God, for these beautiful souls, for their life journey. We bless all that happens around this spiritual community. Reverend Leah and her day off, finally, we give thanks and bless her and where she is and what she's about. Know that she is guided and inspired and loved. And that goes for all of us. Thank you, God. Thank you for everything. Thank you forever. Amen.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
All right, if you will, please place your hand over your heart and repeat after me. This gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyfully I receive.
A Tabor Darling, my favorite.
For the sun that warms this body, for the earth
I am thankful for the trees that line the mountains, for the sea and life it holds, for the source of inspiration. I am thankful. Love, light, life, fill me up. Peace, power, beauty, joy, fill me up. For the one infinite divine that is and never was. I am thankful. I am thankful for the sun that warms this body, for the earth that we call home, for the love that knows no boundaries. I am thankful for the trees that line the mountains, for the sea and life it holds, for the source of inspiration. I am thankful. Love, light, life, fill me up. Peace, power, beauty, joy, fill me up. For the one infinite divine that is and never was. I am thankful. I am thankful for abundance and growing, for the mystery unfolding, for each and every being, sacred truth we are knowing, for kindness and compassion and the law of attraction, for law of attraction and the freedom to create. Love, light, life, fill me up. Peace, power, beauty, joy, fill me up. For the one infinite divine that is and never was. I am thankful. I am Let's thankful. Do that one more time. Love, light, life, fill me up. Peace, power, beauty, joy, fill me up. For the one infinite divine that is and never was. I am thankful. I am thankful for the sun that warms this body, for the earth that we call home, for the love that knows no boundaries. I am thankful.
I'm so excited that I get to do this today. If you're a spiritual guidance practitioner, please stand and hold the consciousness of gratitude. As I bless this offering and know that it is in service to this mighty congregation, know that as you give, you always receive. And thank you. Do I get that back? And we have announcements. I'm going to invite Marie up to give you the announcements.
And I'm going to come up and do them. Okay, here we are. See the screen behind me? You know what that means? Today you'll actually just have to pay attention to me giving the announcements because there's no slides to go with it. So we have a new class. Will is doing our class, the dates got changed, Neurosculpting and Interchange Workshop with Will Divine. The dates have changed to November 10, 17, and December 1st, and Will is going to come up here and share about that. And I'm going to let him use. There you go. Bum, 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 bum.
Dun, dun, dun. Hi. Just briefly, the class is about neurosculpting, which is a really cool form of meditation that guides your thought energy through your brain in a certain pattern, and it really helps you to tell a new story of whatever you want to be your new neural pathway. And interchanging is a little more physical, but it's the same idea. It is based in kinesiology and Ayurvedic medicine, which believes in balancing the thought process, balancing the brain, balancing the mind. So these are going to be this Thursday, and then the following, and then the one after Thanksgiving. So thank you very much, and I hope you can come. If you haven't signed up yet, there's still time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Will. So our November outreach, I'm super excited about this because this is a charity that I love. A percentage of our tithes this month will support the Larimer County Food Bank. So we have 2 volunteer opportunities with them. This is a chance to make sure that nobody goes into the holidays hungry. And I think that's an amazing thing that they do. So December 17th and 21st, we will have opportunities to volunteer with the food bank. Our November potluck, bring a dish to serve after, to share after service. And November's theme is casseroles. The theme is casseroles. So bring a casserole where every meal after service that we gather to share, we'll be doing casseroles this time. So save the date, Sunday, November 20th at 5 p.m. That's our regular Sunday meeting. We are having a special gratitude service. So this is interesting. We're not going to live stream this. So register to attend in person or online because we're going to do it on Zoom. So if you're out there in TV land and you want to share with us what you are grateful for, you're going to register on Zoom, and we actually will have the screen that day, and all the people on Zoom will be here with us. You'll be able to see them. So if you're out there in TV land, it'll be like you're right here with us. And you'll have the opportunity to share what you are grateful for, whether you are online or whether you're here in person. So exceptional. We have a new class with our own Chuck Bloser. It will be December the 3rd from 1 to 4 p.m. Turn your financial picture from surviving to thriving with financial empowerment. So everything else you need to know is in the newsletter, which you can find in your email. And if it's not in your email, you can sign up to get it in your email with Doug, who's in the back. So that's what I know.
Thank you.
That's all this says.
Okay.
So.
I think you've done your job. All right. So after service every Sunday, I'm sorry, I keep getting in the wrong light here. After service every Sunday, the spiritual guidance practitioners are down here in front of the platform. I will be here tonight, and they're available for prayer. And we also have prayer requests in the back. And right now, please stand for our benediction and peace song. During the peace song, you can take the hand of the person next to you if you are comfortable, or simply place your hands over your heart. All right. Now you can say this with me, and I'm doing it in the light again here. You can say this with me, or you can just take it in. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for all beings. Love is who I am. Love is who we are. Love is all there is. Go eat soup and casserole.
After we sing a song, 1, 2,
Sing.
3.